Namaste and welcome to the day 4 of the beginner's course in astrology. In the previous session, we used the Panchangam or the traditional Hindu almanac and found the approximate placement of the grahas without considering the degrees. So what did we do? First we casted the placement of all the grahas except for the moon for the first date of the regional month. Then we made changes in both the placement and the state of the grahas till the date for which we needed the grahanila or the planetary positions by inferring on the table. Finally, since moon transits quickly throughout the month, we used a separate table to find the position of the moon for the corresponding date and the corresponding time as well. In this session, I'm going to introduce a little bit of math or Ganita. In astrology, whatever rule you use for prediction, the base of all of this would start with the Surya Udayam or the sunrise and the Surya Astamanam or the sunset. Even if you look into the first page of your horoscope, both the sunrise time and the sunset time for the place of your birth on the day of your birth would be clearly mentioned. So let's understand both sunrise and sunset astrologically. The earth, apart from its revolution around the sun, is also spinning around its axis. Owing to the spin or rotation of the earth on its axis, you would see an apparent day or an apparent night in your region. Astronomically, the time when the upper limb, when we say the upper limb, we are referring to the upper edge, which looks like this. So, when the upper limb of the sun or the time when the upper limb of the sun is visible in the eastern horizon, in whichever region you are in, that is considered as the sunrise time. Again, the time that marks the disappearance of this upper limb of the sun is considered as the astronomical sunset. So to put it in simple words, the time in the morning when the sun appears is sunrise time. The time in the evening when the sun disappears is the sunset time. That's all. But now let's understand the astrological sunrise, or what we are going to call as Surya Udayam, and the astrological sunset, which is called as the Surya Astamanam. Let's say to observe the sunrise, you get up early in the morning and perhaps stand on the terrace. So what would you observe? In the first stage, as the sun slowly rises, first you will be able to see a slight yellow hue. So let me write a yellow hue. That would be the first stage. After this, the yellow hue would go and there would be more of a white light. That would be the second stage. Then you would be able to see the form or the upper limb of the sun rising along with light spreading in all directions owing to atmospheric refraction. That would be the third stage. That is, you see the upper limb of the sun, like this here. What would be the next stage or the fourth stage? In this fourth stage, you would see the first half of the sun or the middle portion of the sun, like this. So you would be able to see the middle portion or the mid limb of the sun. Right. And finally, what will happen? Finally, you will be able to see the complete sun. So these are the stages involved in the sunrise. So astronomically, what would they take into account? Astronomically, they will take into account as soon as the sun appears, that is the upper limb of the sun. But astrologically, you would just consider this stage 4, where for astrological purpose, you would just consider the time when the middle limb or what we call as the Bimba Madhi is visible like this. So the astronomical, not the astrological sunrise, is defined as the time of the first appearance of the upper limb of the sun. The sunset is what? The sunset is the moment of the disappearance of the upper limb. But the astrological sunrise or Surya Udayam is defined as the time of the first appearance of the middle limb or the Bimba Madhi of the sun, and the sunset is defined as the disappearance of the Bimba Madhi of the sun. That's all. Of course, there are further more intricate calculations based on the atmospheric refraction during sunrise and sunset. That is for a later study. But all that you need to remember as of now is just this. The first appearance of the middle portion of the sun in the eastern horizon is called as the Surya Udayam. The disappearance of the middle portion of the sun in the west is the Surya Astamanam. Again, this timing of sunrise and sunset would vary as per your geographical location. It would be one time in Chennai, another time in Delhi, another time in Kanyakumari, and another time in Kochi. But if we just had to consider India as a whole, the timing for the Surya Udayam would vary from 5:40 am in the morning to an approximate 6:50 am depending on the place and also the phase of the year. So again, I repeat, what is the Surya Udayam? As per Hindu astrology, the time when you see the middle limb or the first half of the rising sun is called as the Surya Udayam. Again, what is the Surya Astamanam? It is when the middle limb of the sun disappears. Now, once you find the Surya Udayam and the Surya Astamanam, you would be able to know the duration or the complete duration of the day and the complete duration of the night. So once you know all of this, that's when you can get into the first stage of Ganita or mathematics that would be used throughout the course. Now, the Surya Udayam and Surya Astamanam would just not vary from place to place, but it will also vary from time to time in the same place itself. Like for example, if you take Bengaluru or any place, even the place that you reside in, it would not have the same time for sunrise and sunset throughout the year. And what is the reason for that? See, you have the sun and you have the earth revolving around the sun. Now this orbit is called as an elliptical orbit. It is neither a shape of an egg like this, it is not a shape of an egg like this, nor is it a complete circle. It is more or less like an elongated circle like this. So the sunrise and sunset would vary according to the revolution of the earth around this elongated circle. So when the earth is rotating here, you would have a sunrise sunset timing. When the earth is rotating here, you would have a sunrise sunset timing that is different. When the earth is rotating here again, you will have a sunrise sunset timing that is different. And again, when the earth is rotating here, all of this would give you different sunrise timings or different sunset timings. So sometimes the duration of the day will be longer. Sometimes the duration of the night will also be longer. So this is the reason as to why even in the same place you will have a different Surya Udayam or a different Surya Astamanam during different phases of the year. Okay, so what is the most important note that you need to remember now? It is from the Surya Udayam that we start all form of Ganita or maths in astrology. You can find the Surya Udayam and the Surya Astamanam using the regional Panchangam. As of now, if you don't have the Panchangam, it's okay. You can use Google search engine. You can find the sunrise and sunset timing as per the place you are residing in. You just need to type in the place of your residence and type in the sunrise and sunset timing, and you would get the sunrise and sunset timing for that region that you're residing in, which would be more or less the same as the Bimba Madhi. Now, as a start, let's see how we use the Surya Udayam. So let's use the Surya Udayam with an example. So let's consider the first month of the solar calendar, that is the Tamil month of Chittirai. So for those of you who are having a difficulty in remembering the Tamil months, you can use the Malayalam months, as it is easy to remember as explained in the earlier session. That is, the name of the month would be the name of the Rashi itself. So we are taking the Tamil month of Chittirai or the Malayalam month of Medam. Okay. In this month of Chitrai or Medam, let's keep the date as the 10th of Chitrai or the 10th of Medam. So it is the 10th. So where would the sun be during the month of Chitrai or Medam? If you remember what we studied in the previous session, the sun would be in Mesha Rashi. So the sun would be here. Correct? Now I know it is in Mesha Rashi, but I want to know where exactly it is in Mesha Rashi, or which degree is it in Mesha Rashi. So approximately, if I wanted to know where exactly the sun is, since it's the solar calendar, it's easy. Let's stick with the solar calendar just to understand the logic. Once I cover the Ganita or maths in the later sessions, you will be able to apply it irrespective of the calendar that you use. So getting back, we want to know in which degree the sun is in Mesha Rashi. That is one part. So let's keep the number of days for the month as 30 days. Now this is just for approximation. In actuality, there are 365 plus a quarter day. But eventually, since there are 360 degrees, just to make you understand the concept of finding the degree of the sun, approximately, let's keep 360 days for 360 degrees. So it will be 30 days for each Rashi. So we already covered that each Rashi has 30 degrees. The sun would take an approximate 1 month to cross from one Rashi to another Rashi. So if each Rashi has 30 degrees and we are giving 30 days for one Rashi, so it would mean that each day would get 1 degree. Am I correct? So 1 day would be equal to 1 degree. Now this is just for approximation. It is just to make you understand. Okay. So in the month of Chitrai, on the 10th, because we want the 10th here, the sun would be at an approximate 10 degree. Why 10 degree? As it would be covering 1 degree a day, considering we have 30 days and 30 degrees to cover. So we can put sun is in 10 degrees. When? On Chitrai or Medam, the 10th. So now we have found the position or the degree of the sun in Mesha Rashi as per the month and as per the date. Now I want you to understand this simple concept completely, as this would be the starting point of each and every math in astrology. Now let's understand this with another example. Let's take the Tamil month of Kartigai or the Malayalam month of Vrishchigam. So we are taking the Tamil month of Kartigai or the Malayalam month of Vrishchigam. And the date that we are going to consider is the 25th. So 25th of Kartigai or 25th of Vrishchigam. So where would the sun be during the month of Kartigai or Vrishchigam? Vrishchigam, easy to understand. It will be in Vrishchiga Rashi, right? At what degree would the sun be in? The sun would be at an approximate 25 degree because the date is the 25th. Right? Let's go with another example so that this concept is ingrained completely. Let's take the Tamil month of Purattasi or the Malayalam month of Kanni, and the date would be 15th. So where would the sun be in? The sun would be in Kanya Rashi. What degree would the sun be in? The sun would be at a 15 degree. Why? Because it is the 15th of the month, right? By the way, all of this is just approximation. We are using it to find the approximate degree of the sun because that is the base of all the predictions that you're going to make in the future. So once you understand the concept here, as we proceed to the later sessions, I will teach you how to find the exact degree. And also do keep in mind that the topic that we are covering is Surya Udayam, Surya Astamanam. So the logic is only applicable to the degree of the sun. So for the states that use the sidereal solar calendar, the degree of the sun would be more or less the same as per the date of the regional month. At times there could be a slight variation, let's say a maximum of 1 degree. That's all. So let's get back to the first example itself. So let's assume that today is the Tamil month of Chittirai or the month of Medam and the date is the 10th. So sun would be in 10 degrees here in Mesha Rashi. So in whichever place you are in, you will be seeing the sun rise from this position of the sun in Mesha Rashi. Now how does this matter? See, in the previous session, using the Panchanga, you have learned to approximately find the Grahanila for the Navagrahas in the Rashi Chakra. That is generic, which means we have not yet applied it to an individual or a person. That means whether a human being is born on that particular day or not, the Grahas would continue to transit in the 12 Rashis. So using this, we need to move to the next stage of applying it to an individual. And how do you do that? You're born in the earth. So you would have an individuality or an exclusive identity for yourself, and that identity would take an individual journey on earth. To make you understand it in simple words, there should be some identity which is exclusive to you, which decides why you're born, the path that you're going to take in this life, or your nature as a human. And what is that identity? That identity is called as a Lagna. A Lagna is the first moment of contact between the soul and its new life on earth. Lagna in Sanskrit means to touch or to meet. In Tamil, it used to be written as Ilakkanam. Which can be separated into two different words. One is Ilakka, which means the destination, and the other is Gunam, which means the quality or the attribute. So the Lagna identifies the point or the position of your birth in this Rashi Chakra. So the Lagna becomes the first and the most important aspect of one's horoscope, which creates the destiny of the person. Now let me make a small change here to explain to you the concept of Lagna a little more clearly. Let's say a child is born on the first of the month of Chittirai or the first of the month of Medam. So let's make a change here. So the first of the month of Chittirai or Medam. So where would the sun be? The sun would be in the same Mesha Rashi. In what degree would the sun be in? The sun would be in the first degree, right? Because the date is the first. Now, what do we need to do with this? Now, we need to find how the child's life is going to be. So for that, we need to find the root of the horoscope. And what is the root to his horoscope? It is the Lagna, as it gives the complete purview of the destiny of the child. So it would become the starting point to navigate the entire birth chart. So first we need to find the Lagna. So along with the Navagrahas, the Lagna will seal the complete fate of the horoscope. So how do you find the Lagna? Now let's say the child is born at 6:20 a.m. in the morning and the place of birth is Chennai. So the first step here is you need to find the Surya Udayam. How do you do that? You can find this in the Panchanga. Now this is the snapshot of the page which would have the degree of each of the individual grahas. So in this page, now you can also refer to your respective regional calendar. Here, the first column is the Tamil month. The second column is the English month or the equivalent English month. So here it is the Tamil month of Chittirai. The date is 1st. The English month is April. The date is 14th. And right here you have 6:1. That is 6 hours and 1 minute or 6:1 a.m. in the morning. This is for Chennai. So the Surya Udayam on the 1st of Chittirai or April 14th would be what? It would be 6:1 a.m. right? Now you can also see this for different places. Like here, I have the page with the Surya Udayam for different places on one particular date. So this is the page here. So here, the first thing that we would see here is the Binba Madhi, which means the timing is as per the middle limb of the sun. That's one part here. Next, if you go here, you will see the English month. That is April, May, June, July, August, September, October. Now you would find the same thing in your regional calendar as well. And this is the date. That is 14th, 24th, 14th of April, 24th of April, 4th of May. Right? And these are the places: Chennai, Erode, Kovai, Madurai, Salem, Tiruchi, Sivakasi, Kanyakumari, Tanjavur, Delhi, Bengaluru. And right here, you would see the Surya Udayam. Surya Udayam for April 14th, that would be 6:01 am. That is in the morning. The Surya Astamanam would be 6:18 pm or 18 hours, 18 minutes. Now this would vary from place to place. Like for example, the same date, that is April 14th, the equivalent Tamil month and date is given, that is Chittarai the 1st. So in your calendar, you would have your regional month. So here for Bengaluru, the Surya Udayam is 6:11. So there for Chennai it is 6:01, but here it is 6:11 for Bengaluru. The Surya Astamanam is 6:29. When? On April the 14th, that is Chittarai 1st. So let's just take for Chennai here, that is 6:01 Surya Udayam, 6:18 pm Surya Astamanam. Right? So Surya Astamanam would be 6:18 pm. So now you have the date of birth of the child, the month of birth of the child, the corresponding English month, the time of birth of the child, the place of birth of the child, and we have the Surya Udayam, that is 6:01 am, and the Surya Astamanam, that is 6:18 pm. Now you always need to convert this into a 24-hour format in order to ease your calculation. So after 12 pm, it would be 13 hours, 14 hours, 15 hours, 16 hours, so on. So 6:18 pm would become 18 hours and 18 minutes. Right? So this would be the Surya Udayam and Surya Astamanam for Chennai as the child is born in Chennai. Based on this, we can find the duration of the day and the duration of the night. So, while doing the Ganita, keep in mind that you keep the higher number above and the lower number below. So, 18 hours, 18 minutes, that is the Surya Astamanam, and 6:01 am, that is the Surya Udayam. So, what do we have here? And do remember that these two timings are based on the Bimba Madhi, or the time as per the mid limb of the sun. So you would have 17 minutes here and 12 hours here. So this would be called as the Agas for the day, or the duration of the day. Now you need to find the duration for the night or the Agas for the evening. So what would that be? So you have 24 hours. In that, you minus the Agas for the day, which we have from here. And what would you have in 24 hours? You give 60 minutes here. So you would have a 43. Here there is only 23 hours remaining. So you would have 11 hours. So this would be the Agas for the night or the duration of the night. right? So here we see that the duration of the day is more than the duration of the night. Anything more than 12 means the duration of that particular phase is more. So here it is more than 12, so the duration of the day would be more than the duration of the night when on Chittarai the first or Medam the first. So now you also need to keep this in mind that one set of lagnas will happen during the duration of the day. That is during this 12 hours 17 minutes from the Surya Udayam time, and the next set of lagnas for the 24 hours will happen post the Surya Astamanam, that is the 11 hours 43 minute period. Which means the first set of lagna will start from the Surya Udayam for the day and it will continue till the Surya Astamanam. Then the second set of lagnas would start from the Surya Astamanam and it will continue till the sunrise of next day. So once we find out this, that is when we would be able to start predicting. So using all of this, let's find the lagna of the child. Now to make this calculation a little more easier for you, I'm again going to make a small change. Let's say that the child is born not at 6:20 am but at 6:01 am. So let me make the small change here. 6:01 am, which means the same time as the Surya Udayam. So what would the degree of the sun be? The degree of the sun would be 1 degree. Why? Because it is the month of Chittarai, the first. Again, where would this lagna be and what would the degree of the lagna be? Both the degree of the lagna and the degree of the sun would be the same, which means you can put a slash in order to mark a lagna, or you can also put a LA to mark a lagna. So what I will do is I will use LA as of now. So the lagna will also be in 1 degree. So here we can tell that the child is born when the middle limb of the sun has risen in the Rashi in the eastern horizon, which means sun is at 1 degree. There is a Surya Udayam happening at 6:01 am and the child is also born at 6:01 am, which means both the lagna and the position of the sun would be same. Okay, now we have 12 Rashis. So how many hours do we have for a day? The entire day, the complete day, 24 hours. So 24 hours divided by 12 for the 12 Rashis, right? So what would that be? That would be 2 hours. So each lagna would last for an approximate 2 hours. This is approximate only. So at 6:01 am in the morning, where would the lagna start? It would start from where the sun is. So sun is in Chittarai. So the lagna would be where? It would be in Mesha Rashi. So during sunset, that is 18 hours, 18 minutes, where would the lagna be? It would be in the direct opposite to where the sun is. So direct opposite is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Direct opposite. So during sunset, the lagna would be in Tulam. The lagna would be in Tula Rashi. So it would be a Tula Lagnam. So every day the lagna will start from the Rashi where the sun is. From the Surya Udayam, it does not have to be Mesha always. Like let's say, like during the month of Avani, let's consider the first of the month of Avani. Where would the sun be? The sun would be here. Avani means Chingam in Malayalam. So Chingam, easy to remember. Where would the sun be? The sun would be right here. So if it is Avani the first or Chingam the first, where would the lagna start? The lagna would start from Simha Rashi. So this is where you would have to put the lagna then. So if a child is born during the Surya Udayam of the month, during the month of Avani, throughout the month of Avani, it would be the Simha Lagnam. So let's get back to Chittarai. So the Surya Udayam starts at 6:01 am. So the first Lagna, since it is the month of Chitrai, it would be the Mesha Lagnam. And where would it start? It would start in Mesha Rashi. And how long it would be there? It would be for 2 hours. So from 6:01 am to, you add 2 hours, you would have 8:01 am. So from 6:01 am to 8:01 am, you would have Mesha Lagnam. Right here, that is from 6:01, you add 2 hours, 8:01 am, so you would get Mesha Lagnam throughout the span. Next, again you add 2 hours. So what would you have? 10:01 am. So from 8:01 am to 10:01 am, what would you have? You would have the Rishabha Lagnam. So from 8:01 to 10:01, you would have a Rishabha Lagnam here. Again you add 2 hours. From 10:01 am to 12:01 pm, you would have what? The Mithuna Lagnam. Again add 2 hours. So from 12:01 pm to 14 hours, 1 minute, you would have Kataka Lagnam. Where are we starting this from? We are starting this from the Surya Udayam. That is here. For the month of Chitrai. Since it is the month of Chitrai, where would the sun be? It would be in Mesha Rashi. At what degree would it be in? It would be in 1 degree. If a child is born at 6:01 am, that is in the morning, it would be in the exact degree of the sun. Where would the Lagna start for this month? It would start from Mesha Rashi. Okay, let's add another 2 hours. So from 14 hours 1 minute to 16 hours 1 minute, we have Simha Lagnam. So we have 16 hours 1 minute, add 2 hours, you would have 18 hours 1 minute. So from 16 hours 1 minute to 18 hours 1 minute, you would have the Kanya Lagnam. Next you add another 2 hours, 20 hours 1 minute. So from 18 hours 1 minute to 20 hours 1 minute, you will have the Tula Lagnam. Add another 2 hours. So you would get 22 hours 1 minute. So from 20 hours 1 minute, that is 8:01 pm in the evening, to 22 hours 1 minute, that is 10:01 pm in the night, you will have Vrishchiga Lagnam. Add 2 hours. You will get 00 hours 1 minute. What is it? 12:01 am in the night. So from 10:01 pm in the night to 12:01 a.m. in the night, what will you have? You will have the Dhanusha Lagnam. Next, again you add 2 hours. You will get 2:01 a.m. So from 12:01 a.m. in the night to 2:01 a.m. you would have the Makara Lagnam. Again, let's add 2 hours. You will get 4:01 a.m. So from 2:01 a.m. to 4:01 a.m. in the morning, you will have a Kumbha Lagnam. Right here. Okay. Next you add 2 hours. So from 4:01 a.m. in the morning till the sunrise or till the Surya Udayam, you will have the Meena Lagnam. That is right here. So now you've understood how to find the 12 Lagnas. From the morning Surya Udaya, you form the Lagna. From where will it start? It will start from exactly where the sun starts. Now I am explaining this to you purely to understand. So this is approximate only. In the later sessions, I will teach you how to get into the accurate degree or the accurate timings. There will be a separate session on the Ganita where we will find out how to calculate the Lagna accurately, how to find the placement of the Graha in the accurate degree, and again on how the 12 bhavas are formed. All of this will be explained to you in detail at that time. But first you need to keep this basic logic in mind. That would be enough for now. So let me repeat once again. Before finding the placement of the Grahas, we need to find the point of birth to find the predictions. This is called the Lagnam, which is also called as the ascendant or the first bhava or the first house. For that we need to know the Surya Udayam for the day. From the Surya Udayam it will start, that is the Lagna will start, and it will move from one Rashi to another. For that we need to know the Surya Udayam for the day. From the Surya Udayam, the Lagna will start and it will move from one Rashi to another Rashi. So we will have people born on the same day, but they would have different Lagnas. So once we find the Lagnam or the first Bhava or the ascendant, then we can move on to the next Bhavas, that is the second Bhava, the third Bhava, the fourth Bhava, the fifth Bhava, the sixth Bhava, so on till the 12 Bhavas. So we will move on to that shortly. So I have taught you how to see the Surya Udayam using the Panchanga. For those of you who don't have the Panchanga, you can look into the same in the Google search engine. So based on the position of the sun, we calculate the Lagna. The Lagna would remain in one Rashi for an approximate 2 hours. Sometimes it can be 2.5 hours, sometimes it can be 1.5 hours. We will cover that in detail in the later sessions, as I told you. So in the month of Chittarai, the first, sun would be in Mesha Rashi in 1 degree. So the first 2 hours, it will be the Mesha Lagnam. Till the next day, it will cover all the remaining Rashis. So 12 Lagnas will be there for 24 hours. So approximately 2 hours for a Lagna. So it is based on this that we are going to cover the remaining math. So let's say a child is born in Bengaluru on the month of Avani or Chingam. The date would be 15th, that is the regional date, not the English date. The English date would be August 31st, 2021. The time of birth of the child is 6:12 a.m. in Bengaluru. So now in the month of Avani or Chingam, where would the sun be? The sun would be in Simha Rashi, correct? At what degree would the sun be in? It is Avani or Chingam, the 15th. So the sun would be at a 15 degree. Now we need to find the Surya Udayam and the Surya Astamanam for this date. So let's get back to the table. So here I'm enlarging this for you. So here we have Bengaluru, the Tamil month and the corresponding date. We have the month of Avani here. We need it for the 15th. So for the 15th, we have the Surya Udayam as 6:12 a.m. in the morning and the Surya Astamanam as 6:27 or 18 hours 27 minutes in the evening. So let's just take a note of this. So the Surya Udayam for Bengaluru on the 15th of Avani would be 6:12 a.m. Now I've put the birth time as the same as the Surya Udayam just to make you understand it easier. What would the Surya Astamanam be? 18 hours 27 minutes. So you always keep it in 24-hour format for the ease of calculation. So we have the Surya Udayam now, we have the Surya Astamanam as well. What would the duration of the day be? 18 hours 27 minutes, which is the Surya Astamanam, minus 6 hours 12 minutes, that is the Surya Udayam. What would you have? 15 here and 12 here. So you would have 12 hours 15 minutes, which would be the day Agas, or the duration of the day. As I repeated in the previous session, I want you all to write this along with me, because as you write, you would be able to understand this far more clearly. So what would be the duration of the night? 24 hours minus 12 hours 15 minutes. So 24 hours, you give 1 hour here or 60 minutes here. So what would you have? 45 minutes. And since there are only 23 hours left here, what would you have? 11 hours. So the night Agas, or the duration of the night, would be 11 hours 45 minutes. So again, the day is longer than the night here on this date. So during Avani or Chingam, the 15th, where would the sun be again? I'm repeating, 15 degrees. Which Rashi would the sun be? The sun would be in Simha Rashi. So if a child is born at 6:12 a.m., he is born exactly during the Surya Udayam. So where would the Lagna be? The Lagna would be in Simha. Right? Earlier, it was Chitrai month, so we started with the Lagna as Mesha. Now, Avani, Chingam, the sun is here, so your Lagna starts with Simha Rashi, or we have the Simha Lagnam. So here, 30 degrees for Simha Rashi, right? As of now, the sun is in 15 degree. The child is born exactly during Surya Udayam, that is 6:12 a.m. So it would be in the same degree of what? The sun, 15 degree. So now the Lagna would start at 15 degree. But earlier, what did we discuss? We discussed that each Lagna would cover approximately 2 hours. So 2 hours to complete 30 degrees, correct? Now it's already in 15 degrees. So how much more time is left for it to cover this entire Simha Lagna? See, 2 hours for 30 degrees. Here it is already covered 15 degrees. So for 15 degrees, how many hours? Just 1 more hour. Correct? So here, if sun is in 15 degree, then the Lagna here starts at a 15 degree and it will last in Simha Lagna or Simha Rashi. It will last in Simha Rashi only for 1 hour. So now, how would you go about with the calculation? So from 6:12 a.m., now you don't have to add 2 hours here. Why? Because it has already crossed 15 degrees. Half of the portion is crossed. So you just need to add 1 hour. 6:12 a.m. is the Surya Udayam. So from 6:12 a.m. in the morning to 7:12 a.m. in the morning, you would have the Simha Lagna, because it just needs to cover from here to here. That's all. For 1 hour. So this would be the Simha Lagnam. So post the Simha Lagnam, now you need to add 2 hours. Not 1 hour, because here for 15 degrees 1 hour. But now again it has to cross this entire 30 degrees. So for 30 degrees 2 hours. So 7:12 a.m. to 9:12 a.m. you will have the Kanya Lagnam. So if a child is born between 7:12 a.m. to 9:12 a.m. on Avani, Chingam, the 15th, August 31st, 2021, it will have a Kanya Lagnam, right? Now again, let's add 2 hours. So you would get 11:12 a.m. So from 9:12 a.m. to 11:12 a.m. you will have a Tula Lagnam, right here. Again, add 2 hours. You will get 13 hours, 12 minutes. Or 1:12 p.m. So from 11:12 to 1:12 or 13 hours 12 minutes, what would you have as the Lagnam? Vrishchika Lagnam. Here, right? So 13 hours 12 minutes, add 2 hours, you will have 15 hours 12 minutes. So from 1:12 p.m. to 3:12 p.m. you will have the Dhanusha Lagnam. Okay. Next again add 2 hours. You will have 17 hours 12 minutes. So from 3:12 p.m. in the afternoon to 5:12 p.m. in the evening, you will have the Makara Lagnam. Okay, so Dhanusha Lagnam, let's put it here. Makara Lagnam, let's put it here. Okay, again add 2 hours. You will get 19 hours 12 minutes. So from 5:12 p.m. to 7:12 p.m. you will have what? Kumbha Lagnam. So it will be right here. It will cover this entire 30 degrees. Again, add 2 hours. You will get 21 hours and 12 minutes. So from 7:12 p.m. to 9:12 p.m. you will have what? You will have the Meena Lagnam. which will be here. Again 21 hours, 12 minutes. Add 2 hours. You will get 23 hours and 12 minutes. So from 9:12 p.m. to 11:12 p.m. in the night, you will have what? You will have the Mesha Lagnam. Again, add 2 hours. You will get 1:12 a.m. So from 11:12 p.m. in the night to 1:12 a.m. what will you have? Vrishabha Lagnam. Okay, so let's put Mesha Lagnam here. Rishabha Lagnam will be here, right? Next, add 2 hours again. You will get 3:12 a.m. So from 1:12 a.m. to 3:12 a.m., that is early morning, what will you have? You will have the Mithuna Lagnam. Here, right? Next, add another 2 hours. What do you get now? 5:12 a.m. So from 3:12 a.m. to 5:12 a.m. what would you have? You would have the Kataka Lagnam. Right here. So by 5:12 a.m. Kataka Lagnam is complete. So how much more time is left? 1 hour is left, right? So for 30 degrees, 2 hours. 15 degrees, 1 hour. So again, you will have the Simha Lagnam, that is from 5:12 a.m. to 6:12 a.m. you will have the Simha Lagnam. So that's all. So now you all should have understood the concept of casting the Lagna. We have covered the entire concept of figuring out the Lagna by considering 2 examples. One, we considered the month of Chitrai, a Surya Udayam using the month of Chitrai the first, and here we considered the month of Avani or Chingam by considering the date, that is 15th. So let me repeat all of this to you once again so that you don't forget it. During the month of Avani, where will the sun be? It will be in Simha Rashi. So in which degree would the sun be in? It would be in 15 degrees. So using the Panchanga, we found the Surya Udayam first. For Bengaluru, the Surya Udayam is 6:12. Why Bengaluru? Because we are considering a child who is born on this date in Bengaluru. When is the Surya Astamanam? It is at 18 hours 27 minutes or 6:27 p.m. So what is the Agas for the day? 12 hours 15 minutes. So from the Surya Udayam, the first Lagna will start. Since the child is born at 6:12 a.m., he or she would have Simha as a Lagna. So from the Surya Udayam, I repeat, the first Lagna for the day will start. Now already, since the sun has crossed half of the Rashi, so one Rashi is 30 degrees, so half of the Rashi is 15 degrees. So the sun has crossed the 15 degrees. So how much more is remaining? 15 degrees more remaining. So if a Simha Lagna would start at 6:12, when will it get over? It will get over by 1 hour itself because just 15 degrees to cover. For the next Lagna, you add 2 hours. That's all. So using the Surya Udayam and the solar month, you can approximately find out the Lagna. Now let's say somebody has made a mistake in casting the Lagna. Since you have understood this concept, you can easily figure it out just like that. Let's say a child is born at 10:30 a.m. in the month of Avani or Chingam. It does not necessarily have to be the 15th. The only concept that you need to keep in mind is the position of the sun. And during the month of Avani, sun would be here. And let's say the child is born at say 10:30 a.m. So approximately, even if you don't know the sunrise timing, that's okay. 6 to 7, 7 to 8 here in Simha Rashi, Simha Lagnam. 8 to 9, 9 to 10 here. 10 to 11, 11 to 12 here. And let's say you get a horoscope with sun here, the time of birth as 10:30 a.m. and you see the Lagna here. So you can easily find out that it is wrong. Why? Because approximately the Lagna should be in Tula Rashi, or it should have a Tula Lagnam. So just by noticing the sun, by approximately adding 2 hours, you will come into a conclusion as to where the Lagna can be, approximately. Apart from this, there is also another thing that you can find. Just by looking at the birth chart, you can tell if the child is born during the day or night. All that you need to do is from the sun, just count 7 Rashis. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Clockwise. The first 6 Lagnas would be confirmed in the daytime or morning time. Here, the 7th, once you find the degree, you will be able to know the Surya Astamanam. So you would be able to know if the sun has set and the night duration has started. Again, from the sun, behind the 6, that would be the night Lagnas. Of course, here you need to find the degree because it is just the starting of sunrise. So this portion would be the sunrise time. Before this, it would be the night time. Again 6, you can count backwards. So just by using this concept or understanding this concept, you can clearly find from the horoscope whether the child is born during the day or during the night. So during the month of Avani, if a child is born with a Mesha Lagnam, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 behind, confirmed we can say that the child is born during the night time. Again, during the month of Avani. Avani means we are basically just considering the position or the placement of the sun. If the child is born with a Vrishchaka Lagnam, confirmed we can say that the child is born during the daytime. Why? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So within this here, daytime. So we have found the simple Sukshma of finding if the child is born during the day or night. Again, we have also obviously covered how to approximately find the time of each Lagna. Let's say somebody is born during the month of Avani. So obviously you would have figured the position of sun. And let's say he tells you that I have a Dhanusha Lagnam. So approximately using the position or placement of the sun, you can find out the approximate time as to when he is born. Like let's say sunrise, 6 o'clock approximately. 6 to 7, 7 to 8. 8 to 9, 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12, 12 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4. So, 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock p.m. would be his approximate time of birth. Now, since we have understood the concept of Lagna, now let's move to the next very important step. The Lagna denotes the first house or the first bhava. Based on this, they will predict in Lagna, there is one particular graha. Owing to this graha, your life will be like this, your life will be like that. So that would be the technical terms. So the technical term behind using a graha in the first house is just that. Till now, what were we doing? Till now, we considered the starting point of the Rashi from Mesha Rashi because it is the first sign of the Kala Purusha. But now, since we are considering it for an individual and since we have found the Lagna or where the Lagna is placed, this would be represented as LA or a slash or It would also be used as an ascendant or an abbreviated form of the ascendant. So we would base all the calculation on this point called as Lagnam, and this Rashi here would be called as the first house. The next would be called as the second house or the second bhava. When somebody says the second house has a Guru or a Jupiter, the concept would be based on this. Then the third house or the third bhava. Do remember, it does not necessarily have to be here. Remember, we also covered for the month of Chitrai, so it will vary. Next would be the fourth house or the fourth bhava. Next, the fifth house or the fifth bhava. The sixth house or the sixth bhava. The seventh house or the seventh bhava. The eighth house or the eighth bhava. The ninth house or the ninth bhava. The 10th house or the 10th bhava. The 11th house or the 11th bhava. And finally, the 12th house or the 12th bhava. So we have 12 bhavas or 12 houses based on the point of birth, that is the Lagnam. And this house here would be called as the first bhava. The Lagna would be represented as a LA, a slash, or it is also called as an ascendant, so AS. So using this, they will come up with technical terms like the seventh bhava, the second bhava, a graha in the fourth bhava, etc. So let me just give you a small sample on using this. The first bhava or the Lagna we already discussed what it means. So what does the second bhava now mean? The second bhava is considered as the bhava or sthanam for dhanam, which means earnings. So if you want to see if somebody is going to earn money or not, you need to check the second bhava. It is also considered as a sthana for kutumba, which means family life. So if you want to know how the family of the person is going to be, you need to check the second bhava. Let's say your parents give birth to another child after you. So if you want to know about your younger sibling, where would you see? You would see the third bhava. So based on this, you would be able to know the good and bad in store for your younger sibling. The fourth bhava would indicate about your mother. So based on the graha here, you can find out about your mother. The fifth bhava would indicate about your child. It is also considered as the Purva Punya Sthana, which means if you want to know whether you will get your ancestral property or not, you need to see this, the fifth bhava. So if an astrologer is predicting that you will get or you won't get your ancestral property, all of that would be based on this. The sixth bhava would indicate about Runa, Roha, Shatru, which means loans, ailments, and litigations. So based on the grahas here, we will be able to tell the loans a person would accumulate, the ailments the person would have, and perhaps the litigations a person would get into. The seventh bhava would indicate about one's spouse. It is called as the Kalatra Sthanam, which means it will indicate about your spouse. It will also indicate about partnerships in general. So based on the graha in the seventh bhava, it will tell you about your spouse. It will tell you about the partnership that you can get into. The eighth bhava is considered as a sthana for ayul or longevity. It will also indicate about the trials and tribulations that one needs to go through in this lifetime. The ninth bhava will indicate about your father. It will also indicate about the education post your higher forms of education or post your tertiary education. The fifth bhava again will indicate about your higher education. So if you want to know about your father, how he will be, how long will he live, whether he will be able to give you something as a property or not, you need to check this here. That is the ninth bhava. The 10th bhava is called as the Karmasthana, which indicates your profession. So if a graha here is good, then you would do very well in your career. You would do very well in your business. You will get some very good income and recognition. So if the graha here is bad, you won't be able to do good. There would be a lot of struggle associated with your profession or business. The 11th bhava is called as the Labhasthanam, which means it indicates your savings. It also indicates your elder sibling. The 12th bhava is called as the sthana of expenses. It also indicates your sleep. So this is the base of astrology. So now you just need to place in all the grahas and then the predictive process would start. So what did we do till now? Till now, based on the Surya Udaya of the date and place, we found the approximate Lagna. With that, we constructed the 12 bhavas or the 12 houses. They are in a clockwise order. We also discussed the very basic karakattvas or significators of each bhava. The Lagna would indicate about the self, his or her basic expression, the personality, the path that he would take. The second would indicate about his family, about his dhana or his earnings. The third about his sibling. The fourth about his mother. The fifth about his child, ancestry like grandparents. The sixth about his ailments, litigations. The seventh about his spouse. The eighth about his ayul. The ninth about the father. The 10th about the profession. The 11th about growth, and the 12th about expenses. So once we place the grahas, we will be able to tell that the Lagna has this graha, or this bhava has this graha or that graha. So for the next session, post I sent you all the assignment for this week. What we are going to do is, first I will place the grahas for perhaps the same date and give you a generic, rough prediction based on that. Then post that, we will get into the remaining portion of the math or the Ganita to get into the accurate figures for prediction. So with this, we have come to the end of the day 4 of the beginner's course in astrology. Thank you. Namaste.